Or whatever. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me that 1 second. I got so much stuff, man. I gotta get more organized. I got stuff everywhere. I got books everywhere. Give me 1 minute. I was trying to. Wonder where can that be? Just trying to find my glasses because I can't see. Oh my goodness. Hold on, man. Whoa. I guess that's a little better, man. I guess that's a little better. I can see a little better. Peace, Noble Malik. Before I get started, I want to say peace to everybody. I had an amazing day this morning. It was good, man. I went up to the college campus, my alma mater. I went to GCU, met with some new students, man, and my old professor introduced me to a lot of students that's going to need my services. So I want to thank my professors from GCU. I want to thank all the new students that's coming in, that's using me as a map and a guide. But before I get into these teachers, I want to give my Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah, my guide, my protector, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Malakim, Ay Asha'aya, peace, peace, peace. El Rahman, Ya Hak, Ya Muhammin, Ashe, peace, 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 peace. Shalom Malakim to all y'all. So, with that being said, yes, today is a good day. And I'm going to give some history because I did this when I was in the so-called African American department at GCU. I did it at a couple other colleges out here in Arizona, where a lot of our people that's going to still be miseducated, and Carter G. Woodson told all our people the miseducation of the Negro. And I blame it on our so-called scholars, our so-called preachers, and our so-called educated brothers and sisters that deal with the Eurocentric and the Negrocentric propaganda, regurgitating that pseudo academia with all that black stuff and that slavery stuff, and history didn't happen like that. And so, as I tell everyone, it's this book that's on Amazon called Criminalizing a Race Theory. Y'all see how much the book costs on Amazon. I had one of my college students say they don't understand, and I had to explain to a guy today that bought a book and then hit me up, and he was like, well, I bought the book, and I said, you own my company called mypdfbooks.com. That should be self-explanatory. No disrespect to no African-American, Negro, Black, whatever you call yourself. But our people do not read. Malik, they don't read. And I don't have no problem with none of my European colleagues, misnomer colleagues, none of the other nationalities. It only be with misnomer Negroes because they don't read. And the first thing they say, well, I thought it was this. How could nobody pays you to think? We should know, we should read. One of our companies say mypdfbooks.com, digital downloads, where you can download on your tablet or your cell phone and take them with you. My other company is bindedbooks.com, where we bind inexpensive rare books like so. This is how we bind the books. So the original book, I don't have time to go grab it. Our company bind a book like this, so you can have the book. You don't have to go on Amazon and buy some paper for $1,000. You go on Amazon, you want to buy this piece of paper, it's $1,000. It's not worth $1,000. They do that to our brothers and sisters. I have every expensive book that Amazon to sell. I have them. I spent all my college career converting books to PDF. And then I invested in printing presses so we can print the books and we can distribute them to our brothers and sisters. And if you want this book printed and bind it, why would you go on Amazon and buy the book for $1,000, some paper? And you can get the book from us on one of my companies called mypdfbooks.com. You can download it on your tablet or your cell phone. Or my other company, bindedbooks.com, will print and bind the book for you like so. You should want the information. And when I go on the college campus at GCU, at Arizona State, at Arizona Christian Academy, at Peoria Community College, I have no problem. They call me every single day, my phone blowing up. Hi, Sheik. Yes, such and such, and want to introduce me to you. And do you have this book? And I want it PDF. And then we print it and bind it. Or would your company print it and bind it for me? Yes. But it be our own people. And that's why we stay poor. And so this book is authored by Sharice C.L. McIntyre. And if you Google her on YouTube, she's speaking because she lectured a lot. I have to preface to get a lot of her lectures, to be, around with a lot of scholars that spoke like me, like Dr. Ben John Henry Clark, Amos Wilson, Sheikh Anta Diop, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Francis Quells Wilson. I have, and also all other European scholars, like Peter Lambert Wilson, like that were all the other that were signed the symbols of the primordial man, David Churchward, Gerald Massey, all scholars and educators that didn't have a problem with speaking the truth. And so we convert all these expensive books that Amazon try to sell you for thousands of dollars. I have them. I have every expensive book that Amazon have that they try to sell you for thousands of dollars. I have them. You can get them from me PDF, from my company, mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. Or my sister company, which is called binditbooks.com, where we print and bind the books for you, like so. And so one of the books she was quoting on one of her lectures, I just finished converting this book. It's not that expensive on Amazon, but they're going to make it obsolete. Anytime our scholars and our educators start referencing things, then they have marked the books so high. It might be one or two. It might not even be available on Amazon no more. I don't know. But I just converted it to a PDF. And that's what I do in my profession. That's what I do in my profession. But I want to quote something before I get into the teaching. The Miseducation of the Negro. I don't know. I hear a lot of people, I got the book. Yeah, you got it. It's sitting on the shelf. But do you read it? Do you study it? Do you understand it? Have you went over the history with your children? What is Carter G. Woodson saying in this book? How is it happening still today? And why is it happening still today? Why? I'll give a little introduction. It has almost been a century, and this was when the book was written, that Dr. Carter G. Woodson wrote this classic, The Miseducation of the Negro. Many of the school buildings that were in existence in 1933, when this book was first released, continued to warehouse African American children, while schools in affluent communities have one computer per student. Many of these schools have one computer per school, and the former schools allocate almost 20,000 per student, while the latter schools average less than 7,000 per student. Woodson died before Brown versus Topeka in 1954. Imagine a conversation or debate between Carter G. Woodson and Thurgood Marshall about school integration. Did we make the right decision? No. I'm saying no. Woodson attended Berea University of Chicago and Harvard. Would he not be in favor of African American attending any school of their choice? It was obvious that Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896 that schools were separate but grossly unequal. When I tell my brothers and sisters about the program reading list that our kids today is going to come out with an education, I don't care if it's African American studies and history, and the first thing they call themselves is Negro, Black, and Color and slaves. Or they say they're a Christian and don't know nothing about history. Or they say they're a Black Mason and don't know nothing about the ancient history of the Moor science. I'm going to break this down tomorrow. Everybody copied you. Prince Hall is nothing. That's a slave name. It's a slave name. It's a slave name. But what explains why African-American students scored 200 below misnomer whites? Between Woodson and Charles Murray, one of the authors of The Bell Curve, are African people genetically inferior? If so, why is there a need to discriminate against an inferior people? Is there any relationship between test scores and teachers' expectations at the time on task? Do you score higher on an SAT if you take college preparatory courses? Test takes classes and take the test more than once. I believe Woodson knew almost a century ago that many of us are just beginning to understand schools have two purposes for the misnomer African American children. One, either destroy or indoctrinate. Nationwide, many African Americans misnomered either do not graduate or they complete their education well below grade level. And for those that survive destruction, and acquire skills, they graduate believing Greek preceded Egypt. And I told you, Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. I have a full doctoral library. Like I said, all the students that graduate from GCU, they get all their books from me. Just like I showed y'all this book, Criminal. This is how we print the book. And I showed you on Amazon how much they charge for these books. I show everybody. And when I show this to my college students, they be like, why would I go on Amazon and buy a book for $1,000 and you print it just like so on your printing press and sell it to me for a fraction of the price? They'd be happy to pay $200 for this book. They'd be happy because they share it with their college students. And then I have all the books PDF at my other company called mypdfbooks.com, books with the Z. And my print book company is bindedbooks.com. And so they like, man, I'd rather get the book PDF so we can have it on our tablet so we can travel with it. And then I like to write in my books. I like to touch the pages. I have no problem with nobody else getting with me, but it's only our own people that try to get over. That's why I said I'm never going to die poor and broke, because I go to where my people that need me. I can't go in a neighborhood with people like selling drugs and looking at each other as inferior and don't like to study and read. I'm not popular to those type of Negroes. I'm popular to scholars, to brothers that resurrected themselves, that want to learn about themselves. And I tell every misnomer black person today, if you want to hide something from a misnomer black person, put it in the book. I tell every misnomer black person, research the black codes, research the black Christian codes, where you couldn't read, you couldn't study. You couldn't have me teaching you like this. It couldn't be a bunch of us coming together. We had to have an overseer or a European Protestant preacher to tell you how to speak and talk. And then they'll license you and revoke your license whenever the hell they want it. Only thing you can teach about is slavery in the Bible, how to obey your master. And that's pseudo. So that's why I don't have a problem speaking how I speak. I don't speak racist. I don't speak prejudice. I speak scholarship and history that can be proven. I speak peer-reviewed scholarly research. I graduated with honors, And for those that survive destruction, they acquire the skills. They'll graduate low and believe Greek preceded Egypt. No disrespect. They believe white is better than black and more committed to the Fortune 500 than the black community. How do we explain having in excess over 2 million misnomer African Americans with college degrees earn almost $600 billion annually, and the African American misnomer community is in shambles? How can we get behind a political party and a damn weak misnomer black people that say they don't have none raise 200 million, and we can't support something that's real? So we just gonna give away $200 million on a political party that the average Negro don't know about law and policy. It's no black agenda. And when I say, well, ancient history, we damn sure wasn't Democrat. The Democrat that's where the Klan come from. We were the Republic. I'll show y'all all this in history, but we're not educated. We're not educated enough to know that. We emotional. And that's why we're gonna continue to fall. Not me, but the average Negro that claimed they African American black. You're gonna continue to suffer. You're going to get treated like a Negro slave over and over and over. Why do we only spend 3% of our money with African-American businesses? Why everybody still go to Amazon and buy books? Like my professor has said, all the people that you know that buy books and things, and we more of your customers than your own people. He said, so your people will still go to Amazon and buy all those books, and you got every single book that Amazon have that you can print and bind it, and you convert it to a PDF. And when I did my oral dissertation, I show how Google spent $25 million converting books to PDF, taking chapters out the books. All my European colleagues at the universities out here in Arizona, they deal with me. That's why I don't brag about nothing. I stay in my lane. What explains less than 30% of African American families connected to cyberspace, in contrast to almost 70% of misnomer white families, including poor whites in trailer homes? Carter G. Woodson, in this classic book, raises the question, educated to do what? When I ask people, I got a degree for this, you got all these letters after your name, to do what? To go work a job? Or you do that to go stun on your people? You're supposed to go back in the community. And then your people can support you with small donations. This is supposed to be something that we share with the world. Yes, a workman is due his hire, but I have a mission. If I'm gonna educate everybody on the college, I'm gonna come back here every day and educate my people and try to convince them and court them to say, man, you need to be dealing with me. I'm talking about in finances. I'm talking about in real estate. I'm talking about growth and development. I'm talking about health and wealth. I'm talking about language, all that. If you got a kid struggling in history or in college or anything, I can help them. You got a kid autistic or anything, everybody know that's my profession. I'm a behavioral health therapist. I'm licensed. I deal with all kids ADHD. I'm a profession. I do this in life. I work from home a lot because I work remote. And now I do a lot of things on my own dime, where I have a lot of families that deal with me as they go to all these companies out here. They got Ohana and they got all these Arizona Autism, and they say these people just giving my kid medicine. I deal with real results because I spend that time with them. I ain't just trying to get no kid a whole bunch of these kids that have these social issues. These kids be on 30, 40 different medicines. That's why they crazy. That's why they in a place called Youth Development Institution. That's why they in lockup, because they doped up. These babies be doped up. How you think they gonna deal with reality when they doped up and they have all these bad thoughts of killing themselves and doing all this and running away when they be in these facilities? Why? Because they don't have nobody like me to talk to them and meet them where they are. I ain't finna dope no 5-year-old up or no 6-year-old up or no 7 or no 8-year-old or even no teenager, because they have different energy and they learn different, because the average Negro, especially their parents, they don't have the time to deal with them. They want to dope them up and put a tablet in front of their face. I don't do that. I have the time. That's why I'm almost where I need to be. My brick and mortar is almost getting ready to be in motion. I might have to do it back in my city of Flint, but I do it remote because I give you real results. The number one, when you got a kid that may learn different, you got to get them off all the bad foods. But then you see these parents, they giving their kids all genetic modified organisms, Twinkies, ketchup, fast food. They give them all that pork, Kool-Aid, all that cornstarch, all that stuff that they don't need. All that stuff, and you don't understand that that's affecting them. And then what the average parent to do that got a kid that's autistic or on the spectrum, I call them blessed. What we do, they give them a tablet. They give them a tablet. These kids so smart, they be on that tablet watching porn, watching adult cartoons, all that stuff. How I know? Because I know for a fact. And if anybody get on here lying, that's you. These is facts with me. I'm always telling facts. Carter G. Woodson, in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro, he said, to be popular or smart, that the misnomer Black peer group, I observed that many African-American youth who are doing well academically are accused of acting white. I get that with a lot of my brothers and sisters. They say, oh, well, you just act white. I said, boy, I'm too melanated to act white, fool. So if acting white is smart, what is acting black? Acting a damn fool? I done told you I ain't black already. I ain't say black wasn't beautiful, but it's not a nationality. It ain't no high standard to hold yourself on. Black is misnomer. Black has no standing in law. It's silver mortis. Black has no standard in law and science. But what do our people do? They get you with that Black Lives Matters because they know you miseducated, and they can get you with that Negro-centric propaganda. But see, you can't come to me like that. Woodson was not only critical on the education system, but African-American ministers and politicians. When I say we ain't, no disrespect to my European, Trinidad, Albion, whatever we want to call them, because I deal with truth. You can see somebody coming. But when you got your own brother that's a so-called preacher, that's a so-called politician, that's a so-called educator, and they'll lie to you in your face because they getting paid. They getting paid. They took the oath to get a check. And they won't tell you that they got a selective reading list that they give you in academia. I already told brothers and sisters about the reading list. I already showed you with proof, with scholarship, that it never such thing as no Willie Lynch. But you got rappers rapping about that. I said Willie Lynch is propaganda. No disrespect to Farrakhan. Farrakhan knew that was propaganda when he quoted that at the Million Man March. I gave y'all the history where it came from. It came from a European woman from Missouri University. Propaganda. And they let Negroes have it. There wasn't no person in Willie Lynch in the first century. Black wasn't even used to describe ethnicity in the first century. And then you have to know language. You have to know language and how things are spelled. When I told y'all, I'm a linguistic. Words weren't spelled like they are today. So if Willie Lynch back in that time, when he used words like black and all this stuff, all you got to do is look how it's written. You can tell it's propaganda. How? By the language and the writing style, how things were spelled. That tells you everything is modern. But we're not educated enough in language and understanding and prehistory to bring it to the table. Just like I told you, Roots was plagiarized. I told y'all Alex Haley plagiarized Roots from a European named Harold Colander. It's a book called The African. Research it. How I know? Because I told y'all, I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. I'm part of a whole higher understanding. I'm 99 degrees, ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim. And I don't have the time to talk about it today, but I'm going to talk about it later. When I tell you Prince Hall ain't nothing but slavery stuff. Mizraim is Egypt. Don't y'all know that? When I try to educate my brothers and sisters, and I say, you don't need to go to nobody that don't look like you, or especially no Negro that's under some Europeans, no disrespect, because they don't believe, they don't love you. That misnomer black people think that Freemasonry began in our community only with Prince Hall and accuse all other Masonic jurisdictions of being fraudulent. But to these misinformed brothers, I say that it was not long ago that the European Masons shunned and ostracized Prince Hall as illegitimate. Now, Prince Hall Masons are perpetuating the same behavior upon the Asiatic Moor Mason community at large because they don't understand language. It's a sad picture. Freemasonry of the Aboriginal people of this earth existed long before Prince Hall even manifested. Masonic unity would serve as a great weapon against the true enemies of Freemasonry. It's my contention, as well as many other Moors, M-O-O-R-S, M-U-U-R-S, that sacred Moor, that M-O-O-R, that M-U-U-R, science, predates its younger brother, the European and the Negro African Freemason. And I educate my brothers on this. I'll give y'all a little title and I'll jump back into it. The sunken civilizations of Mu, the M-U, the Lemura, to the Garden of Eden, where the prophet Enoch, they took that out the Bible. I'll show y'all all that as well. That's why they take certain things out the Bible. Refined and propagated the sacred science. The science was preserved in the pillars associated with Noah's flood. You know, the Moor, the M-O-O-R, the M-U-U-R science tradition was passed down from Enoch to Methuselah, to Lamech, to Noah, to Ham, to Cush, to Mizraim, to Hut, which is they call Put, and Canaan. Cush and Canaan authorized what was to become the Moor, the M-U-U-R, the M-O-O-R, the M-O-O-R, right, Put or Hut, because the P wasn't pronounced, originated what will later be called the Memphis Rite of Freemasonry and Mizraim, the Hebrews' name for Egypt. Initiated what will later be called the Mizraim Rite of Freemasonry. It's interesting to note, Mizraim is pronounced Musur, M-U-S-U-R, in Babylonian language. Research it. So when you remove the middle S and you have M-U-U-R, as widely believed, Egypt inherited their science from the Atlantis, the Mu, the Lemura. When I start showing you Atlantis of latter days, when a European called himself El Elyon, I'm going to always teach this. And all my European lower level 32-degree Masons, they know it. I don't call the European a joke of masonry, because the European will tell you that he or she is the son of a Muslim. Your own misnomer black brother will tell you that they're a widow son. And that's just asinine. That's just asinine. I told you our own people going to keep us in bondage. They're going to keep us in bondage. Woodson also called African leaders misleaders. That's what I call them. Every Negro, I call them misleaders. Because we like when a person says something good, like when Cornel West will say something good, and when all them Negroes will say something good. Okay, and they taught on Harvard, and then we ask those Negroes, what's the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15? What's the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment? What's manumissions? What's the Reconstruction Law? In the Battle of Bunker Hill, did they whitewash Oliver Cromwell and Peter Salmon out of the Battle of Bunker Hill? They won't even share that with you. They'll be arguing over things that's meaningless. That's meaningless. And my European professor said they would never, ever, ever have a conversation with you because you would destroy all day pseudo-academia in 1.2 seconds. I don't give a damn because you teach on Harvard, Negro. That don't mean nothing to me. You ain't telling the truth. My European colleagues teach the truth before a Negro that got a PhD would. In African American studies that been teaching on Harvard all their life, that'll tell you your freedom is connected to your blackness. How? They telling you, and white is by nationality, white by law, and they won't even catch it. But when they see me, they know exactly what I'm talking about because they look at our misnomer black people as idiots. It's just facts. How can a group possess in excess of 9,000 elected officials, but wield very little power? Did politicians try to build a power base without economics? The beauty of Carter G. Woodson is that he does not dwell on the problem. He described the chains around our minds and provide us with strategies for the removal. Misnomer white supremacy, and I don't call nothing supremacy. I don't believe in that. Can be conquered with, they say, Africanus, but I believe with true history. Understanding your nationality, your spirituality. Understand that your nationality. Understanding your race and understanding your status. And until you understand that, you can never have a conversation with a true scholar. I'm not one of those goofy radical Moors. I'm not one of them goofy sovereign citizen Moors that just be on the internet talking about they're a sovereign citizen and I don't got to have all this. You're going to jail and you're going to sit right next to the European militia. These Negroes is clowns. I'm talking about scholarship. And you was a Moor way before Noble Drew Ali. I share all this on my page. I give credit to Noble Drew Ali. When I talk about Deuce Muhammad Ali, when I talk about Abdul Hamid Solomon, when I talk about Abdul Hamid in Harlem, aka the Black Hitler of Harlem, look this stuff up. We're not educated enough to have an intellectual conversation with me because the first thing Negroes do, they'll get all emotional. Instead of learning, knowing that you haven't educated yourself, knowing that you haven't been in the battlefield. Because the true art of war is understanding how the so-called enemy think and understand how the world thinks. That's the problem with a lot of misnomer Negroes. I told them every day, all politicians are Masons. I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. I done met so many people that I know that people think heavy. And when I come around them, I'm their teacher. Because in different communities, different European, different other, I say the misnomer Chinese and all of them, a celebrity, an athlete, it's not your priest. It's not your divine minister. You're not going to know they priest and a divine minister. Why? Because that's what they known for. They ain't known for being no Negro. They ain't known for dribbling no basketball or being no rapper. I'll give you all another analogy. When that Hebrews to Negroes came out, remember when, this is why I tell y'all you should never follow behind no damn celebrity or no Negro dribbling a basketball. Malcolm told y'all that. Malcolm told y'all that. When I told y'all, when that Hebrews to Negroes was all popular, that book, and everybody said, we the original Jews. Man, I don't want to hear that. You ain't doing nothing Jewish. You ain't doing nothing Jewish. You don't wear your yarmulke. You don't wear your talent. You don't have no priest. But that's all. We the original this. You ain't the original nothing. And everybody was like, when Kyrie was talking about we the original Jews, and now Kyrie is a damn practicing Islam Muslim. Fact check me. Kyrie Irving got a whole bunch of Negroes fired from jobs and all that stuff he talking about. And then the nigga just switched on y'all like that. Excuse my candor. And now he a practicing Islam Muslim. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Where your culture? That's why I said these niggas, why this man making millions and millions of dollars, poor people, you heard what Kyrie Irving said, you don't even understand nothing. Because if you know who you are, you don't have to keep switching because you add value to. First, you a Hebrew Israelite. Now you a practicing Islam Muslim. Huh? Where the sense in that? And everybody know first Kyrie was talking about, yeah, we are the original Jews. We this. And now Kyrie Irving is a practicing Islam Muslim. He said, well, I ain't eating during Ramadan and all this. Yeah. The Negro that switched on y'all like that because he don't know nothing. All he should be known for is dribbling a damn basketball. That's it. But that's who misnomer black people follow, athletes. They don't follow the educators and the scholars, the one that put the work in. Kyrie Irving couldn't sit next to me and have no intellectual conversation. All he'd do is stutter. Just like, no disrespect, we watch this type of stuff on college. Just like when Nick Cannon had Professor Griff on his show. And I'm like, so you got a person that deal with conspiracy theories, that's mad and argue, that talk stuff about Khalid Muhammad. And if Khalid Muhammad was in the flesh, the Negro wouldn't say nothing. And he on there talking all that stuff. And what did Nick Cannon do? Went and apologize. I don't have to apologize because I ain't angry like a dog. I'm going to use all their books. I'm going to use the Jewish Encyclopedias. I'm going to tell you where that phrase anti-Semitic came from. I'm going to use their books. And then I'm going to say, and I'm going to rest my case with no rebuttal. I bet you they can't say nothing. You can get any European Jewish priest all you want and sit down with me. I'm gonna bring all their manuscripts out. I'm gonna get out the I'm gonna get the Jewish encyclopedia. I'm gonna get all their written language from ancient times, all the Jewish books, all the Jewish manuscripts. I'm gonna show them where anti-Semitic came from. Then what you can say. Then I'm gonna get the so-called Mormon when they talk that stuff. I'm gonna get the Watcher's book and get the Mormon and show you in the Book of Mormon how they say the Indian is one of the 12 tribes. And they throw you off the breadcrumbs. I'm going to show you how Joseph Smith plagiarized a lot of the Book of Mormon from a book called The View of the Hebrews. When he was alive, I did this in college. He checked the book out. He checked the book out, View of the Hebrews. But see, a lot of our brothers are not educated and astute enough with the aptitude that can sit and have a conversation from eloquence, from not arguing like a dog and rest my case. They won't even be able to say nothing. And everybody know that about me. Everybody know that about me. So I was just giving an introduction from Carter G. Woodson. Now, I'm going to give another one. I'm going to get into this teaching. My homie said, man, I love you, brother. He was like, you the best educator I had. Because I'm going to go against and show you. And thank you for the donation. Like when I said, I get paid swell to do what I do. And I should. Everybody know what I'm talking. They ain't never heard of it. And I prove everything. I give you scholarship. I give you the sources for you can study it, for you can have it. Watch. I'm going to reference this book called The Negro Question. This is The Negro Question by Lee B. Cummings. This is just part 2. It's a whole bunch of books. But I lecture this. I do the research. If he was in the flesh, I don't need none of these books. I've done the peer-reviewed scholarly research. I've done oral dissertations in college years ago. So I'm going to give you another little tittle, and then I'm going to get into the lecture, and then I'm out of here. Watch this. When I talk about cardiographers is people that pinpoint the maps and what they saw. This is a picture of Brother Lee Cummings, an Asiatic brother. We got brothers that ain't afraid. We got brothers that ain't afraid. And Europeans buy all our books, buy all our manuscripts. That's what I be telling misnomer black people. I said, Europeans going to buy all your manuscripts because they study you to a T. They know you're not studying nothing. I keep telling misnomer black people, if you want to hide something from a Negro that think he or she knows something, put it in a book. All they're going to do is watch YouTube videos. All they want to do is talk about, give me some welfare, or they want to overthrow the government and talk all that sovereign citizen oxymoron garbage. And talk about some reparations. A Negro is never getting no reparations. Long as you call yourself Negro, black, and color, and African American, that denote to a slave, Negro, you never get no reparations. I'll tell you to your face. I'll tell an attorney, and then they gonna know it. Negro, you ain't never get no reparations. The only people that's gonna get reparations for a slave is the person that created your black butt. Now, go sleep on that, and I'll rest my case with no rebuttal. So when I talk about things, the king of Judah and the slave coast, when the European powers carved up Africa, it was the custom of the European kings in those days to send out a cartographer. A cartographer is a map maker. To do what? To outline and pinpoint the holdings. There was a cartographer in 1747 who went by the name of Emmanuel Bowen. Research everything I'm telling you and see, am I lying? Because I already done this. This man held the title of royal cartographer for 2 European kings, King George II of England and King Louis of France. But what is unusual about the map that Emmanuel Bowden brought back to these 2 kings is that in the center of the map, Bowden shows that the true name of the so-called slave coast was none other than the kingdom of Judah. Judah was known by 4 different names at that time. It was named Judah, Wuda, W-H-I-D-A-H, Kuda, Q-U-I-D-A-H, or Abir, A-B-I-E-R. Research what I'm telling you. And then you go back and ask those lying misnomer black teachers at these so-called misnomer black universities with that pseudo academia, with that all some Willie Lynch for program reading. I mean, for prerequisite reading. And I say, why would you have brothers and sisters read that? That's some bull crap and not tell the truth. That's propaganda. If it was a real Willie Lynch letter, it'd be in the Library of Congress. Every educator know that. Every educator, real educators know that, but they'll throw that on misnomer black people to keep you blind. And then rappers rap that trash and they think it's real. Well, we think, no, it's propaganda, Negro. Willie Lynch is propaganda. Roots is propaganda. Alex Haley lied. Kunta Kinte wasn't his ancestors. I told y'all. Alex Haley stole that and plagiarized that from a European named Harold Colander. He wrote the book called The African. Harold Colander and a European that wrote Behold the Pale Horse. They was members of the Philosophical Research Society, what I'm a part of, because that's intellectuals. You have to be introduced to those things from wisdom, and everybody with power know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody with a tittle of power. That's why none of those educators from professors, Carnell West, Tavis Smiley, any of these people that promote that black and that straight out of Africa stuff, they had never had no conversation with me because they stuff would be destroyed in 1.2 seconds from scholarship. From scholarship. And I'll get one of my European colleagues to prove it. From scholarship. What does this mean to us that have been in the pursuit of truth? It means that we have proof from the royal map maker himself that Judah was indeed among the inhabitants of Africa. You heard it, Judah. Or even greater interest is the fact that the maps were not disputed by two kings. And you would do well to take heed to the fact that the British laid claim to the so-called slave coast and that its inhabitants were sold into British colonies, and one being North America. How authentic is a map? All you got to do is Google what I'm saying. Research Northwestern University, the authentic map of West Africa. It'll pop right up. It'll pop right up. The University of Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. I did my oral dissertation at GCU in the history department. Had them misnumbered black professors with you can see here a pin drop. They want to look at everybody else. Don't walk out the room when I'm lecturing. Stay here. Now tell your students you lying. The map in their inventory and list it as the authentic map of West Africa, 1747 by Emmanuel Bowen. Even to this day, there is a fort. It's a fort. They're called the Fort of Ajudah, Ajudah. Research what I'm telling you. And if you pull it up, the information online or at Northwestern University, this is what you will see. And I quote, this is what you will find. Northwestern University Library Maps of Africa. Here go the title. I'm showing you how to find it. I'm a map. A new and accurate map of Negro land. Cartographer, Emmanuel Bolden, 1747. The size of the image is 35 by 43 centimeters. Place of publication is London. Subject is West Africa. Identification, Northwestern University Library. Library. I can go on with Mari pictures, but I'm not going to do that because I got to get to the point. Oh yeah, we're going to deal with this right now. It ain't even going to take me long. I told y'all, we got a lot of program to dissect. I tell people you got to get a flush and fill and reboot your hard drive when you're dealing with me. Because I'm a scholar and an educator. You can't build on rebel. Number one, let's deal with it. The title Africa did not come from Scipio Africanus. That was his real name. The birth name of Scipio Africanus was Publius Cornelius Scipio. That was his real name. The title of Africa did not come from Scipio Africanus. The birth name of this figure, the birth name of Scipio Africanus was, and I quote, Publius Cornelius Scipio. Publius Cornelius Scipio earned the acronym, the title, after he defeated General Hannibal Barca. And then they say in history, Hannibal Barca let him win. I'll lecture about that later. It was the battle, it was one of the ancient battles of Zama. All you gotta do is research what I'm saying. Zama in the Second Punic War. Research what I'm saying. And the Romans got the title Africanus from the indigenous Afri. Remember I showed y'all on that C. Freeman L chart, the AFRI, the flush of God, and it had those little indentures, the symbology. Research Afri, the flush of God, the AFRI. They got that from that, or the Berber people living in northern region of the Sahara Desert. All you got to do is do a little research. When you're dealing with a scholar, you got to be quiet because everything else is Negrocentric and Eurocentric propaganda. Now let's deal with the education that Carter G. Woodson said these Negroes is miseducated by our own kind. Watch this. It ain't gonna take me long. The name, the origin, the meaning, the truth. Every nation, landmass, and continent has names that have evolved over the centuries. All of the names you think Africa was called in the distant past are only local names. When a person say, well, this is the original name of Africa, it ain't the original name. That's the name in your native tongue, smart guy. Stop lying stop the cap. Used by a few tribes, nations, and only referred to a small section of the continent of Africa. There are multiple ancient African sources of the word Africa, including the Berber word Ifri, I-F-R-I. Fact check me. That's why my European colleagues, I teach them. That's why I get paid for what I do. That's why I get donations from those that's educators, and then they go back and take these courses in African America with all these misnomer black professors, and then them professors be butthurt. We're like, well, who are you studying with? And then the students at GCU and all them say, y'all know Ashik Khari Goodman, he graduated from Grand Canyon University, and they look me up. Oh yeah, we know him. So what? So you know what I'm talking about. And then when I give them all peer-reviewed scholarly research, because they want to teach us that we some stupid slaves. And that transatlantic slave trade, it didn't even happen like that. The European gonna agree with me. It's another book called The One World Tartarians that tell the truth and bust all them black, goofy Negro professors and that African-American pseudo stuff out. Because you don't have nothing to compare it to. Just because a professor is up there running his mouth, you're supposed to go to school to learn something and prove who you are all through history, not to just go get no A. I ain't care about getting no A. I was gonna get an A regardless. Because you can't prove me wrong. Because I deal with peer-reviewed scholarship. And the Berber word Afer, A-F-E-R, which is the name of the Banu Ifran, the B-A-N-U-I-F-R-A-N, from Algeria and Tripolian. African can also be derived from the Egyptian, the Af-Ru-Ka, the A-F-R-U-I-K-I. And what that means is to turn toward the opening of the Ka. To turn open the opening of the Ka. I'm giving you comedic science. Everybody know I'm telling the truth. The Ka is the energetic double of every person, and opening of the Ka refers to the womb or the birthplace. Africa would be the ancient Egyptians, the birthplace, and these are many other names, sources, including the hieroglyphics that make reference to the title or the designation African per se. The first word, AFU, Afu, carries the meaning of house. Fact check me on it. The second word, the Ra, is one of the names of the divine creator in Africa in general and Egypt in particular. In the Bible, it tells you that I am Ra. When we talk about the Amen Ra, it's in your Bible, but we don't study, we don't read. The third word, Ka, carries the meaning of the soul or spirit. And when you put it all together, you get the word Africa. A-F-U-R-A-K-A, Africa. Fact check me on it. The meaning of Africa is the house for the soul or the spirit of the divine creator. And this word in the form refers to the land of the divine creator. And the Africans look at their land as belonging to and created by the divine creator. Africani, A-F-U-R-A-K-A-N-I, is a word derived from Africa, and it also carries the meaning of house for the soul or the spirit of the divine creator, but in reference to the human beings, male in particular, in this context. And the plural form is Africanu, A-F-U-R-A-K-A-N-U, which refers to all males as houses for the spirit or soul of the divine creator. That's why in the Bible it said the man is the head of the house. Not because you the man of the house. You ain't the man of the house if your stature ain't like that. You missing the etymology of the teachings. I told y'all the Bible is written in analogy, parable, and symbology. And if you don't know the analogy and parable and the symbology, all you're going to deal with is what? The exoteric. You're not going to deal with the esoteric that gives you power. You're going to be always dealing with putting man and woman against each other. And in our culture, man and woman sits on a throne together. That's a symbology of the Ankh energy with the child in the middle. But we don't get it. We let these people play this game because they deal with that Greek mythology, that male stuff. Anytime you deal with Greek mythology and you're looking at all their statues and they got the little kid in front of the priest and they naked, what you think they doing? Everybody know I'm telling the truth. All you got to do is study Greek mythology. I'm an educator. When you're dealing with the Catholic and that priest stuff, the way they brought up a young priest is they had to be an understudy of the old No disrespect, that way priest. And everybody know I'm telling the truth. I started pulling out the books and start showing y'all all the monuments of all the perverted stuff. It's in Greek mythology, and everybody know I'm telling you the truth. You will see a lot of those priests, they'll be putting their mouth on the baby's genitals, talk about that's the way they do it, and they be passing disease to these kids. How I know? I did this in academia. This ain't no hate. This ain't no slander. I told you how sick religion is. No disrespect to nobody. This information comes from the science when you can even research the destruction of black civilizations, great issues of race, 4500 BC to 2000 AD. It's by Chancellor Wilson. Everything I got, I'll give it to you. I converted all these books to PDF so you can download them on your tablet, or you can get them printed from me, from my company, mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. All the books on there are digital downloads. And I got to keep explaining this to Negroes that don't study. Oh, I thought it was the book. Dude, the company is called mypdfbooks.com. That's self-explanatory. If you want a book binded and printed, go to our company, bindedbooks.com. But our brothers and sisters, they don't read. Africa was also called Akibulan, Akebulan, Akibulan, which means mother of mankind. And the Garden of Eden. In your Bible, when they talk about the Garden of Eden, they're talking about Akibulan. Ask any scholar, ask any European scholar, the land of milk and honey. That's where all the Europeans went to study. That's where all the sages went. They know this. That's where Adam Blavatsky went. That's where all of them went. Where? To Akibulan. Where? The Garden of Eden. Where? The land of milk and honey. These is facts. Where Napoleon and them all went. Where Thomas Jefferson was inaugurated on the Quran. Look it up. I showed y'all Thomas Jefferson Quran. Thomas Jefferson was a practicing Muslim. All European Masons are practicing Muslims. The lower house is Christianity. The highest house is Islam. And the password is Assalamu alaikum. That's why they wear the fez in secrecy with Mecca and Islam on it. And Mizraim. They know it. I know it. But you don't know it. Ask them. The name was used by numerous tribes and ancient nations, including the Nubians, Numidians, the Carthaginians or the Carnagians, the Karthadan, aka Carnagians, and the people of Kush, aka Ethiopia or Abyssinia. However, we never had a single name for the entire continent, but we had numerous localized names. But there is no name that was used for the entire continent before Africa. See, these is facts, and you let people take your history and your science. Akibulan. Is Akibulan the original name of Africa? This is what they asked me. I say no. Akibulan is just one of the many names, ancient local names of Africa. Among the many ancient names used to describe different areas of our land is Akibulan, which means mother of man. Akibulan has also been interpreted as meaning Garden of Eden. Ask the European, they'll tell you. Akibulan and Africa are two of the oldest indigenous names. The many names of our land were localized and never referred to the entire continent. Akibulan was used by the Egyptians, the Nubians, the Numidians, the Carthaginians, the Carthaginians, and the Ethiopians, the Kush. Africa, the current misnomer adopted by almost everyone today, was adopted and used more widely and across many cultures to describe the continent, likely because of the way it is easily translated into many indigenous languages. The ancient Greeks and Romans, and as a result of the wide use of the name Africa, came over time to use Africa to describe the whole continent. Remember, Africa is a continent. A few more examples of indigenous sources for the word Africa. The Afarak, also known as Aourigha, Origa. It were a Berber people who lived south of Carthage, which is North Africa. And the terms Afrik, Afarik, or Africa were used to denote, remember, denote. You got denotation, connotation, but to denote the land of Afrak, Afarak. Then you got to remember the Phoenician root, Farakui, Faraqua, which suggests a separation, or in other words, the diaspora. The same root is found in some African language like Bambara, the Bambara language. In the Sanskrit and in Hindu, the root apara, A-P-A-R-A, or Africa. It denotes that which is geographically terms comes after, or in other words, the west of India. And from the geographical position of India, the Asian country in which the East Africans established colonies, namely the Dravidian culture. Africa is the Western continent. And another school of thought, it states that the word Africa comes from two Phoenician terms, one of which means an ear of corn, which was a symbol of fertility in the region, and the other, Pharika, P-H-A-R-I-K-I-A, which means land of the fruit. And other local names used to describe our land, Africa. I told y'all, Aurora, Ethiopia, C-O-R-P-H-Y-E, Ortega, O-R-T-E-G-I-A, Libya, Afrik, A-F-A-R-I-K, Kemet, Kush, Nubia, Olympia, Gadaguana, Hesperia, Temeri, or Temer, T-A-M-E-R-R-Y, or T-A-M-E-R-E, or Oceania. So bottom line, Africa has many indigenous source names. So then when the misnomer black people, and then the professor, my European professor, the misnomer black professor, he want to walk out like he needed a drink of water. And so I said, let's pause and take a break, because I wanted all those misnomer black teachers to come back. I said, oh, we'll take a break. Go get your water. Go do what you need to do. I'll wait, because I ain't in no rush. We'll stop it right now. We'll come back tomorrow. My professor like, they ain't going nowhere. They're going to get the water and come right back. Since y'all miseducating the people, came right back. And then I asked them all, why do some misnomer Negroes say Africa got its name from Publius Cornelius Scipio, who was given the abdomen? An abdomen is a nickname. Africanus, after he defeated the great general Hannibal Barca and called himself Asiatic. See, these is facts. Yet the same Negroes never say, remember, if that's the case, watch this, how I give y'all scholarship. Fact check me. If that's the case, y'all, the same Negroes, that's where they got a degree in African American history. They'll say Negroes, they'll never say that Asia got its name from the brother of Scipio, who was rewarded for his victories in Asia with the abdomen Scipio Asiaticus. Lucius Cornelius Scipio, who was better known as Scipio Asiaticus, was given the abdomen, a nickname, Asiatus, by the Romans, just like his brother was given an abdomen, which is a nickname, Africanus, when he defeated Hannibal Barca. See these facts. And then I said another fact. The word Africa is an indigenous name used by a dozen North and East African tribes for thousands of years before the Roman Republic was ever born. Rome got the name Africa from, guess who? Africans. So no, Africa is not named after no Roman. If that's the case, you don't see no place in Europe named Africa. This is simple, man, using your brain. This elementary. Was Africa named by or after a Roman general called Scipio Africanus? Even if you do not know the many indigenous words and meanings which translate to Africa, it should be obvious to you that Africa is not a European word. There are not European cities of towns called Africa, is it? If Africa was a European word, there would be other places named Africa. Because no disrespect, they love naming things after themselves, per se. New Age Negroes, and I'm just saying it, will falsely tell you that Africa got its name from the Romans. That's a lie. All these professors, all that, they lying to you. And I've proven this many times in college when I was doing my oral dissertation, when I was getting my dual master's degree at GCU. I have an undergrad in linguistics. I have an undergrad in first century history and religion. The people spreading this lie do not know history. And some of them do know the truth, but they choose to spread lies. They got to know the truth. If they got a master's degree or a doctoral degree, they got to know the truth. So now you got to be like, why are you up here lying to the masses? Because they're getting that check. That's why I say it's for my people to support this. When I do these lectures, I don't ask nobody to do much. I said, send a small donation to Cash App $KG Bay so you can teach your children early what you learn late, for you can get the documents. So I don't have to just go in college and be teaching the one that can just pay, because I'm almost done with this. I do this because I need my people's support. to educate you, from scholarship, to give you history and spirituality. Watch, the new book I'm showing you is Who Tampered with the Bible. I'm going to show you this from scholarship. From scholarship, it's going to blow your mind. I got a full library. Africa is not a European word, and it's not named after the Romans, whose name was, Cornelius, Publius, Cornelius, Scipio. There are multiple ancient African sources for the word Africa. I told y'all, like Ifer, and the Berber word Afar, A-F-E-R and I-F-R-I, which is the name of a Banu Ephraim from Algeria and Tripolitan. Africa can also be derived from the Egyptian, the Af-Ru-Ka, the A-F-R-U-I-K-A, to turn towards the opening of the Ka. And the Ka is the energetic double of every person. An opening of the Ka refers to a womb or the birthplace. Africa would be for the ancient sources, including hieroglyphics. It makes reference to the title or designation Africa. The Roman general who defeated Hannibal was named Publius Cornelius Scipio. He was best known for defeating Hannibal at the final battle of the Second Punic War from 2018 to 202 BC at Zama, a feat that earned him an agnomen. It's a title or a nickname, Africanus, and Scipio was also called by the nickname the Roman Hannibal. He was called Africanus because he defeated the greatest African general of all time. Research what I'm telling you. Rome did not create the name Africa, and anyone who claims that they did is mistakenly or purposely a liar, a phony, and a fraud. And I challenge any of those so-called black this and black that from scholarship, but they ain't gonna come because they already know what it is. They're gonna try to talk loud and try to get to preach. Well, this ain't the time to preach. This is for education. The Bible says in 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things and hold fast to what is good. You can't come with your arbitrary explanation. Well, this, I don't care. Well, give me the scholarship. Give me the facts. Don't come with that garbage. You a phony and a fraud. Bottom line, Africa is not named after any Romans, and the Romans named themselves after you and I. Africanus is an agnomen. What is an agnomen? To be clear, Publius Cornelius Scipio was given an agnomen for defeating a general named Hannibal Barca. The agnomen given to Publius Cornelius was Africanus. Publius Cornelius Scipio was given the title Africanus. Many thousands of Romans and Africans were given the agnomen Africanus. Roman naming practices varied greatly over the centuries between the founding of Rome to the early Middle Ages. However, the practice of the elite during that period between the mid-Republic and the early Empire has come to be seen as the classical Roman naming convention, the naming convention. And then you have the whitewashing of history. I told y'all Thomas Jefferson was inaugurated on the Quran. All of them wanted to be who you are. This is likely to be because this period provides good evidence of naming practices of the best documented class in the best documented Roman period. And by the end of the Republican era, a name for an aristocratic male citizen comprised three parts. You have the trinomnia, the praenomnia, which is the given name, and the nomium, or the nomian, the Gentile, or simply gentil, or it's called gentilicium, being the name of the gens or the clan, and the cognomen, a name of a family line within the genes. Sometimes a second or a third cognomen called the agnomen was added. Fact check me. The nomen, or the nomen, and later the cognomen were virtually always hereditary during the imperial period, and the number and opinions for elements within their name considerably increased. The naming conventions for the later period grew out of a desire to indicate status, connections, and ancestry in a way that was much more wide-ranging than could be shown by the trinomnia. After the cognomen became hereditary and lost its function as a nickname, a second nickname or agnomen was appended to the name after birth, usually not immediately, to signify some personal characteristic or accomplishment. A common agnomen was pious,
for someone who displayed virtues like honesty, reverence to the gods. In our culture, we are nobles or devoted to family and state. Superbus or superbus is proud, and pulcher or paltry, handsome, were also examples of an agnomen. Unlike the nomen and the cognomen, an agnomen was usually not inherited unless the son also had the same attributes or did the same deeds. Although some victory, the agmenia, like Augustus, which is majestic, and Germanicus, the German conqueror, and of course Scipio Africanus, the conqueror of Africa, eventually became handed down as additional cognomina. And agnomen, plural, agnomina, is the Roman naming convention, was a nickname just as the cognomen was initially. However, the cognomina eventually became family names. So agnomina were needed to distinguish between similarly named persons. But however, as the agnomen was an additional and optional component in a Roman name, not all Romans had an agnomen. So when I talk about pseudo, which means fake, when I tell you that's what academia is, it's called pseudo academia. When these misnumbered black people be saying, I'm a Rhodes scholar. I don't care. Cecil Rhodes didn't have nothing for your black butt. That's why it's all pseudo academia. Pseudo probus uses the hero of the Punic War, Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus, as an example. Remember, propria, hominium, namium, inquator. Well, y'all don't know that language, so I ain't gonna go there. But men's personal names are of 4 types: prenomen, nomen, cognomen, and agnomen. Prenomen, for instance, Publius, nomen, Cornelius, cognomen, Scipio, and agnomen, Africanus. Just like Marcius, Vicinius further eloquently explains, I am agnomen, extraneous, vented. He's speaking in a different tongue, but the agnomen comes from outside. He's speaking in Latin, so I'm not going to read it in Latin because you won't know what I'm saying. And in 3 styles from personality or physique. You know, Africanus, Creticus, Creticus, and the likes are also known as victory titles. Just like Gaius Marcus Cornelius earned his agnomen, the capture of Corelia. He earned his name from the victory and the capture of Corioli. See, no disrespect. See, a lot of Europeans, when they don't tell you what Mussolini did, Mussolini killed more people than so-called Hitler. Hell, Gandhi did. And just like it's a place downtown Flint called Churchill. Y'all don't know what Churchill did? Winston Churchill. Y'all don't know the atrocities that Winston Churchill did? I told y'all, but they ain't going to talk about that. They be like, you know who Mussolini? Yeah, I know who Mussolini is. He killed more people than Hitler. Yeah, I know what Cecil Rhodes did. I can go on and on with the Europeans that they hold as title in history. They wasn't nothing but killers. They wasn't nothing but killers. All of them. They wasn't nothing but killers. So the Roman general who defeated Hannibal was named Publius Cornelius Scipio, and he was best known for defeating Hannibal at the final battle of the Second Punic War in 2018 and 202 at Zama, a feat that earned him the agnomen title or the nickname Africanus. Scipio was also called the nickname the Roman Hannibal. He was called Africanus because he defeated the great African general of all time. So I'm going to stop right there and I'm done. I told y'all, the Battle of Bunker Hill, them black professors don't show you how they whitewashed Peter Salmon and Oliver Cromwell out the book. I showed y'all that in history. Watch this. This is the book that they're going to give your kids in school, 1776. And I already showed y'all right in the beginning when they talk about the Battle of Bunker Hill and they whitewashed and you don't see Oliver Cromwell and Prince Whipple in here. You don't see them here. You don't see them nowhere because they whitewashed them brothers out the Battle of Bunker Hill. But it's other books that show them right in here. They right in here. They right on. There they go. You see them 2 circles right there? There them brothers go. There them brothers go. And I lectured this in college. I'll give y'all this little bit of tip to African history. So much of it is truly unknown today. For examples, few knew of James Amistad, a black patriot and spy who helped make possible the 1781 Yorktown victory during the American Revolution that established Africa as an independent nation, or Peter Salmon, a black patriot who was a hero of the 1775 Battle of Bunker Hill. I just showed y'all what happened to him. They whitewashed him out the history books. He also fought as one of the legendary Minutemen and was a soldier at the Battle of Saratoga and Stony Point. In fact, a monument was erected to his memory in Massachusetts to commemorate his life and deeds. And in the famous picture of 1776, I just showed y'all in here, of the Delaware on Christmas night, the two men depicted at the front of the boat is Prince Whipple and Oliver Cromwell. They ain't in here. They ain't in the book that they give your kids in history because they whitewashed them out of history books. I told you. I'm telling you what I know. Nobody can deny what I'm saying. And here they are right here. When I take y'all to the all the pictures that the Europeans professors got in their home, they got those brothers in there. The two men depicted at the front of the boat include Prince Whipple and Oliver Cromwell, two black patriots who served with George Washington and other American generals during the Revolution. Peter Salmon at Bunker Hill, then Prince Whipple and Oliver Cromwell. There they go. You back?
Yep.
I'm about to smash, so I got to get out of here, y'all. I'm about to eat. They right there in the history books.
The spot won't open.
What spot?
The
one I'm talking about? What? Why not?
I don't know.
Few Africans are aware that many of the soldiers who fought during the American Revolution were misnomer black, unlike the later segregated regiments in the Civil War. Black patriots fought side by side around their white comrades. Research a history called the Free Blacks of Hebrew Hill. Research the Free Blacks of Hebrew Hill. Research that. I can show y'all all through history what this was, and everybody be talking that Democrat. Well, we wasn't a Democrat at first. The Klan came out of the Democrat. They burnt all the books. It's in this book right here. All you got to do is study, but misnomer black people don't study. All these people that was in Congress, all these brothers that y'all don't know about was in Congress. And who wrote the book? Look who wrote the book. This is a European. That's why I be laughing at brothers. They get on, argue with each other, and the European be like, these, I'm going to say it, they be like, these goofy Negroes is a fool. Teaching that pseudo history. Why you ain't never taught about this in so-called black history and the so-called social studies? Why? Why the black professors ain't teaching about this? All my European colleagues will. Why? Because I teach them. Why you don't know about Richard Allen, Henry Garrett, Hiram Reveals, Joseph Rainey, John Lynch, John Rock, Jefferson Long, all these brothers right here that sat in Congress. All these brothers right here that sat in Congress. And then we're going to let these people tell us we started as some Democrat. They lying to you. I can show y'all everything in history to prove everything that I'm saying. I done this a plethora of times. Our people are lost. Why? Due to a lack of knowledge. Why? Because we refuse to learn. We let these misnomer black educators continue to lie to your babies with that straight out of Africa stuff, with that slavery stuff. And that's all pseudo. I ain't saying it wasn't no people that come from the continent of Africa as slaves, but it ain't happened like that. Ain't all them people came on no slave ship like that. All a lie. They ain't teach you about these brothers, did they? Y'all don't even know who these brothers is. I got a brother that got an African-American degree right now, had that brother crying. He was like, they never taught us about this. He said, you should be teaching all the classes in the Black History department. No, I can't. I can't. Why? Because it's programmed. They don't want me to teach this. This was from 1872. This was in a newspaper printed by the Courier, and the Eye showed the first 7 black Americans elected to the U.S. Congress. They were all Republicans. Why these Negroes? They were all Republicans. All Republicans. Fact check me. That's why I be laughing. I said, if we so poor, how can a whole bunch of misnumbered black people and a whole bunch of fraternity women, Empress, and just last week, what they do? They raised $200 million in a damn week for a stupid political party. That you ain't gonna have no fight. That a person ain't gonna do nothing for black people. Well, is she the first black this? I don't have no fight, but I bet you the misnumbered Negroes don't know no law and policy. And if you say you black, what is the agenda for black people? And who you gonna hold accountable? All you gonna do is have crickets. See, I don't have no fight in the political party. But before all this stuff happened, all them Negroes love Donald Trump. They gave Donald Trump damn near philanthropy awards. No disrespect. I can show you this in history. I got the documents. All in a rap song, Donald Trump, all the misnomer black people, they love Donald Trump. No disrespect to nobody. I don't have a dog in a fight, but I know what I'm talking about. I know about law and policy, and I know this is all a joke, and I know about the electoral college. I know no president is elected, they selected. Let me tell you another thing about this as I close. All this stuff was programmed. All this stuff was programmed. Biden knew he was going to step down. What Biden wanted to do is be in office for 2 years to step down and let Kamala take over for the 2 years. And then she can still have and then she can be the first misnomer, whatever color she says she is. And she'll be able to be in office for 10 years. See, I know this. Why? Because if I show y'all what I know, what's already said and done, you'll be like, damn. And if I talk to and if I sit around these dignitaries, they're going to be like, this man know what he's talking about. On the left, I'm going to break down all these brothers' names and I'm out because I'm ready to smash. It smells good, Empress. On the left side of the group was Hiram Rose Reveals from Mississippi, an ordained minister. He served as a missionary and pastor, recruited 3 misnomer black remnants, and was a chaplain during the Civil War. Reveals became America's first black U.S. Senator. Next was Benjamin Turner of Alabama. Turner was a slave during the Civil War, but within 5 years after the war, had become a wealthy and prosperous businessman. And this back then, and we can't come together and make one of our brothers successful for I can change our world. We some of the most hatingest people in the world, and we'll make all these celebrities rich. Get on their page, happy birthday, 2 Chainz. Look at, what's my man name? Look at Nelly and Ashanti. How's that? Happy birthday, Lil Wayne. Like Lil Wayne don't give a damn about y'all. I care about y'all. Third was Robert D. Large of South Carolina, born a slave. Shortly after seating of Reveals, the question arose, should Georgia be permitted to have representation in Congress? Was the state reconstructed enough in its attitudes towards blacks to receive a seat at the federal table once again? Senator Reveals strongly supported the remission of Georgia, knowing that allowing it back into Congress would mean that the newly freed blacks in Georgia would have a voice at the federal level. In the speech, his very first in the Senate, Reveals declared, I left my voice for the first time in this council chamber of the nation. I don't want to break all that down, but I just want to talk about the other brothers. I want to talk about the other brothers because I got to eat. While Reverend Hiram Rhodes Reveals was the first black American to serve in U.S. Senate, there have been other blacks as well. The second was Blanche Kelso Bruce of Mississippi. And all these brothers was under bondage, another slave, and they educated themselves. They became mighty men back then, successful. And everybody say they winning. Everybody got a job. Everybody got a degree. And we can't support something that's real. We don't got our own schools. We don't got our real spiritual houses. We got a whole bunch of Negroes with that Greek fraternities that's going to lie to you. And Freemasons, and they definitely going to lie to you. And I bet you they won't get on my page with none of that crap. I bet you. Because the Greek is a lie. No disrespect. They know it. All my brothers that's in them Greek fraternities, I love y'all. But you're not a Greek god. Why would you say you a Greek god? At least you could say you an African god or an Egyptian god. I mean, come on. At least you can be an Iota. That's at least one of the first African-American fraternities. Research what I'm saying. The first to serve a full term in the Senate. Bruce also received an appointment to a federal post by Republican President James A. Garfield. A portrait of Senator Bruce today hangs on the Senate side of the U.S. Capitol. Go to the U.S. Capitol and you will see the brother hanging. The third black senator was Edward Brooke of Massachusetts, who was the first to be elected in a statewide vote. Prior to the adoption of the 17th Amendment to the Constitution in 1913, the U.S. senator for a state were chosen by the state legislature, and both Reveals and Bruce were chosen in that manner. However, Edward Brooke was the first black senator chosen by the people in a statewide election. Significantly, the first 3 black U.S. senators, Reveals, Bruce, and Brooke, were all Republicans. Carol Moseley Braun of Illinois was the 4th black American to serve in the U.S. Senate, but only the first Democrat, and Barack Obama, also from Illinois, was the only 2nd black Democrat of U.S. senator. So when y'all talk that Democrat stuff, these were the only 2 that was Democrats ever in history. Don't y'all know that? The first African Americans elected to the U.S. House was Joseph Haney Rainey of South Carolina. Rainey was the first of 23 black Americans elected to U.S. Congress. all as Republicans, all as Republicans, all as Republicans, all as Republicans. Remarkably, all of those early black congressmen, the 13, had been slaves. They've been slaves. Consider the amazing transformation that this represents. In only 5 years, misnomer black Americans have gone from being slaves to becoming members of Congress. To becoming members of Congress. And we can't even repeat that back then with all the atrocity they was going through. Look what them great men did. And what we do today, just get on there, well, we behind somebody because they call themselves black or Indian or whatever the hell the lady called herself. I don't mean no disrespect. I ain't getting behind nobody just because you black. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if you white, orange, purple, green. If you best for the situation, I'm rocking with you. I don't got no prejudice bone in my body. Just because you black don't give you no one up on nobody, goofy Negro. You got me bent. I deal with the heart of man. I deal with the righteousness. The Creator created everything. The red bird, the black bird, the polar bear, the koala bear, the grizzly bear. The Creator created the misnomer white man, the misnomer black man, the Chinese man, the misnomer Mexican, the misnomer Latino. I deal with the heart. Hate comes from your makeup. And all of them were home or self-educated. Additionally, 3 of that group were ministers. 7 were attorneys. 5 were school teachers. 4 were university presidents. And 13 were state legislators. I mean, come on, man. Democrats did not elect the first black American to the U.S. House until 1953. And that black member was from Illinois, a northern state in which blacks had always been free. I'm telling you, research, it's in Jamestown. And on that in Jamestown, when they say the first slaves came to Jamestown in this amount of time, well, when did the free ones there? I did all this in college. It was not until 1937 that the first black American from the South was elected to Congress as Democrats, Barbara Jordan of Texas and Andrew Young of Georgia. And they were elected only after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the gerrymandered district lines that Southern Democrat state legislators had drawn that kept blacks from being elected. The Democrats did that. While black Americans immediately followed the Civil War, had indeed begun a distinguished chapter in their history that opposed to their rapid success. It grew just as rapidly. Many Southern Democrats not only despised blacks and Republicans, but they utilized every means possible to keep them from voting, including not only the use of devious and cunning means, but also the direct use of violence. In fact, after examining the abundant evidence concerning this violence, U.S. Senator Roscoe Conkling, nominated a U.S. Supreme Court justice, concluded that the Democrat Party was determined to exterminate blacks. The Democrat Party was determined to exterminate blacks in those states where Democrat supremacy, the Klan, was threatened. That's like research Wilmington, when you research the Wilmington white man's constitution. Research what I'm saying. Research the Wilmington's white man constitution when them Europeans organized and kicked them Negroes out their city. Fact check me on it. As a response to democratic violence in the South, and in order to further secure the civil rights of black Americans, Congress passed the 15th Amendment, explicitly guaranteeing voting rights for blacks. The 15th Amendment, the final of the 3 post-war civil rights amendments, was the first ever constitutional expansion of voting. But when I break down the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment, when I break down manumissions, we have another conversation. So I'm done. I'm done. You had Republican Robert B. Elliott. You had all these brothers in Congress. And then in the Exuberance of the Nation, they talk about it. But then I love our prophet Noble Drew Ali, but I don't use religion to teach history. I just teach history because we got to be in all politics. We a nation of laws. If we're going to let everybody make decisions for us and we don't put our people as local, state, and federal, and then to the highest house, that's like I tell Negroes, I don't give a damn because you voted for president. Did you vote for the congressman? No. Did you vote for the mayor? No. Did you vote for the councilman? No. Did you vote for the sheriff? No. Did you vote for the judge? Well, I don't give a damn if you voted for the president. If you ain't vote locally, that's going to affect you because everybody that locally, they go through the local houses, then they move up in Congress. Y'all don't know that? Y'all don't know that? Just like the mayor of Flint, his wife is running for a state, what is it, state representative? I know what I'm talking about. They will never debate me on science. They'll start, but nothing. You got a whole bunch of uneducated Negroes that's mismanaging money. I'll get behind the money and show you where all the money, the water money with the Flint, when the water crisis and all them celebrities and all them people gave money, all those millions to Flint, Michigan. I'll show you where the money went. It's a thing called backdoor deals. I'll give you this and I'm done. Just like in Dalton, when you got that black lady that's messing everything up, it's backdoor deals. I'll give you an analogy. Okay, say it costs Empress, and she say, okay, well, I'll give y'all a backdoor deal to fix these roofs. It costs $10,000. This is what it costs, but I want 20%. I want $2,000. So all they'll do is just raise the price. They'll say, okay, well, it's gonna cost $12,000 for to do it, and they're gonna control the vote. It ain't gonna be nobody ever to put a petition in or to put a bid in for it. They're gonna control the bid. So it's gonna go to you, and you're gonna up the bid. You're gonna up the cost of the services. You're gonna up it to $12,000. How? For I can get my 20% off the top, my two bands, you're gonna get your $10,000. And that's what's happened with all these Negroes and politicians. I'm telling you, I know what it is. You go to the city council in Flint, Michigan, all you see is a whole bunch of goofy Negroes arguing. No disrespect. You go to Flint, Michigan, all you gotta do is pull it up on M Live, pull up the city council meeting in Flint, Michigan. All you see is a whole bunch of goofy Negroes arguing. You got Liddell Lewis, all these people arguing. You go in Dalton, where they got the black lady. She call herself, what she call herself, Sean? What type of prep? I don't know, whatever mayor she call herself. The super mayor. You got a whole bunch of people in position because in politics, especially local, it ain't nothing but a popularity vote. Negroes be voting for somebody because, oh, they pretty or they said something smart, but they don't know no policy, and they suck the money out the city and they make backdoor deals. I'm telling you what I know. So with that being said, I love everybody. Thank y'all for listening to me today. I showed y'all that Africa was not named after a European. I showed y'all that Judah had a whole bunch of different names. I showed y'all that in the Battle of Bunker Hill, this the book that they're gonna give your kids in social studies. I showed you how they whitewashed Oliver Cromwell and Peter Salmon out the history books at the Battle of Bunker Hill, and it's in here. And I showed you all the brothers that's in Congress right here. Tomorrow, I'm gonna show you all some history of how these misnomer masons, especially these Prince Hall masonries with this fictitious name, they're gonna lie to you. Anybody that with black, they lying to you. Ain't no European lied to you. They just roll with the punches. They know our own people gonna continue to lie to us. And that's what Carter G. Woodson said, the miseducation of the Negro. He blamed our preachers, our educators, and our politicians that's coming with that line straight out of Africa stuff. And then get another book by a European. It's called The One World Tartarians. And y'all see who wrote this book? A European named David Barton. He the founder of Wall Builders, an organization dedicated to presenting America's forgotten history and heroes. And then all these people, they wrote me was like, man, gratitude for speaking on this. I did this in college. You can hear a pin drop. I did it in the African-American department. And them goofy black professors couldn't say nothing but tuck their tail in their rear end and try to act like they need some water, or they be acting like they phone ringing. Oh, I got to take a call. You ain't got no call. Your phone ain't even ringing. Stop fronting. You can't handle the truth, and the truth will make you free. So I love y'all, man. Stay grounded, stay rooted. Everybody, if y'all want any documents, I always give my information and hit me up. Anything I have, remember, just like this book on Amazon, it's $1,000. My company, we convert expensive books to PDFs so you can download them on your tablet. Our company is called mypdfbooks.com, and that should be self-explanatory. Mypdfbooks.com, they digital downloads where you can download on your tablet. And my other company is binditbooks.com, where we print and bind expensive books like this. I have a plethora of books. I have a library with over 1 million books and documents. You don't have to go on Amazon and buy these books for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can go on Amazon and look up a book called Russian Icon by Vladimir Ivanhoe. All these books, you can look up a book called Melanin, The Chemical Key to Black Greatness, and see how much those books cost on Amazon, some paper. And you don't want to deal with your brother, but we made Jeff Bezos rich as hell by him uppricing some damn books, some paper that your brother have that you can download on your tablet for a fraction of the price. Or if you want it printed, bind it, my company binditbooks.com will print it, bind it for you for a fraction of the price that you would buy the book for off Amazon. So if you want all these books, my company, mypdfbooks.com, go on my website and check it out. Mypdfbooks.com, that's books with the Z. My other company is binditbooks.com. And my other company is moorishhaberdasher.com, where you can get all your Moorish regalia and much, much, much more. Our temple and school web page is called bbtsciencetemple.com. Once again, if y'all want to contact me, because I'm a real person, long as you keep it respectable. If you hit me up with all some sovereign citizen, a whole bunch of dumb stuff, I'm going to block you and delete you like I've been doing a whole bunch of these goofy Moors. My Gmail is my name, Goodman, GOODMAN, KHARY @gmail.com. That's my Gmail. I answer everything. If you need books, if you need documents, if you want to be my guest for ADAPT class every Saturday and Sunday school every Sunday, if you want to be my guest for book reading, but a lot of my nobles, they pre-record book reading because they do other things. Please subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube page. Our Temple and School have a YouTube page, and it's called Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. Please subscribe to that on YouTube and Facebook. Please. And that's where I teach systematically. If y'all want to give me a call and send me a text, my number is 602-473-8767. Once again, my contact is 602-473-8767. Please keep it respectable. I don't deal with no slander. I don't deal with no hate. I will block you. I'll let you know that off the dribble. And my email is GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. Don't get caught up out here, especially a lot of my Moors, my L's and my Bays, watching these dumb videos with these sovereign citizens getting their head bust. Talking about, I got a right to travel, and they some damn sovereign citizens, and that's an oxymoron. Don't get caught up with these Negroes talking about you're going to expatriate from this de facto government and get up your citizenship, and then you're going to be a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad. I'm an American, and I'm proud to be an American. I love America. It's the land of the free, the home of the brave. I don't want to be nowhere else but right here. This is the only place where people come from a dictator country, misnomer Indians and misnomer Mexicans or whatever you want to call them, and become doctors and lawyers. And we done been here forever, and we still on welfare, and we still on Section 8. That's asinine. And talk about the government this, but the government your daddy. Here it is. We got people like Empress. You got doctors that work with you. They ain't from the so-called states. They come from a whole other place. They done came from a whole other place, from a dictator country. And they doctors and lawyers. And we still out here arguing over some welfare and some Section 8. And we ain't pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, talking about we the original Jews. Well, the Jews wasn't on no welfare. The Jews wasn't on no Section 8. The Jews didn't live in no cheap public housing where your rent was $13. Miss me with that. And then talk about you want to overthrow the government and you don't like the government. Damn it. The government is most of y'all mamas and daddies because y'all living in subsidized housing. Stop playing with me, man. I love y'all, man. Stay grounded, stay educated, keep your spirit high, and continue to help me build this nation. I need all y'all, man. The only thing that we can own is our churches and our schools and our communities. Don't y'all know we can have our private religious communities like everybody else where we got to buzz them in? We got to come back and buy our neighborhoods block by block, lot by lot. I can show us how to do it and structure it under our religious organization. I've been doing it in my city of Flint. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I'm from West Patterson Street. I got it tattooed on my arm. Right on Mount Elliott Street, I damn near own the whole block. I'm getting ready to go back home and buy more lots. I don't need no raggedy house. I need the city to tear that down because I'm going to put double wides on them. When I get all the funding, I'm going to put manufacturer homes on it. And I'm moving seniors and single moms back in there. And if you own Section 8, I'm going to move you into good housing. I ain't no slumlord. And then I'm going to sell you the house after 3 years. This is how we refurbish our community. This is how we buy the block back. You got to sit at the table with brothers and sisters and use our tax dollars and use our change that we waste and buy our neighborhood back. How lot by lot, side street by side street. And then we put our first double wide on it and we show people how we can do this. It's very simple. I have a mission. I have a plan. And then all services, we can have our own community service house where we offer health and wealth and agriculture to show you how to raise your baby, to show the women that need to breastfeed and they don't need to be on no Similac and all that and be getting no damn child support because we all gonna raise the babies. If the father is obsolete, then all the nobles, we gonna raise the babies. We gonna show you how to garden. You don't need no food from the state where I'm getting food stamps. You don't need no damn food stamps. We got a garden. We got animals. We got our own butcher shop and we kill our animals culturally. We don't need nothing from the government that separate the man and the woman. Y'all got to understand what I'm saying. Forget the government. You got to abide by the rules then. If we so-called the people, then we got to come together. We all winning today. We all got a job. We all wearing designer or fake Temu design.
Get your ass off of there.
I'm out of here, man.
Get off of there.
No disrespect to nobody, man. We ain't even cultured. I be seeing Moors, they don't even have a fez. Our empresses, y'all wear y'all turban. We so Americanized, man, that we don't have no culture. And then people from other countries, you will see the misnomer Indian with their turban on and with their native clothes. You will see the Jew with their yarmulke on. You will see the Al-Islam Muslim from the so-called Middle East with their kufi on and they tunic and kutra. But what about you, misnomer black man? What about you, Moor? You don't got no culture. You don't got no culture. I love y'all, man, and we out of here.